All right, moving on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about, which really, I think this is something that during my prayer time, I believe God was helping me work through. Something that I've been processing. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, I'm in the process of starting a new job soon. And with that, I'm excited about it. I really am. I'm really excited about starting this new opportunity and, having some more steady income. Something that I spend time doing is looking up personal development stuff, but also looking up business things because I want to start my own business. I want to be self-employed, which I've been self-employed now for a few years. So I want to continue to grow that. And when I'm doing research with that, reading articles, reading books, listening to YouTube channels, podcasts and stuff like that, oftentimes it's encouraged that you dream big. It's encouraged that you try to get to the heart behind why you're doing your business, why you're chasing after whatever your dreams are. And something that I realize that I wrestle with is it's really hard to dream and it's really hard to focus on your desires when your bare necessity requirements aren't straight. And I understand that's the case for a lot of other people too. Whether you're single, married, doesn't matter. I think it's really hard. I found it to be really hard to dream, particularly for me as a man. It's really hard for me to dream and to have a vision beyond the right now. And what I realized and what I was reminded of is you have to have those requirements, those things set in place first, that bare minimum, that bar, so that you can make room for your desires, so you can make room for your dreams, so you can make room for just thinking, visioning, fantasizing about where you would like to go and where you would like to be. Because not to say that you can't do it when you're struggling. You can't, not saying that you can't do it when you're like upside down and underwater. Yeah. But I know it's a lot easier to do that when the requirements are being met, when you're not worrying about the next check. You're not worrying about paying that next bill. I've really just been encouraged to really focus on getting those requirements set and getting those things in place so that I can make room for my desires. Because I believe and understand that our life is more than that. Our life is way more than bills, taxes, all that stuff. Just working a regular job. Our life is more than that. And we're called to so much more than that. But we have to set the stage for us to build upon first. We have to set that bare minimum stage of the requirements so that we can pursue and develop and chase after those desires. So for me, yeah, paying bills is a requirement. I got to make sure that's done and out of the way. Basic, bare minimum. Even in my health, making sure I sleep 7-8 hours is a bare minimum requirement for me to live a healthy life. When it comes to managing my mental health, my emotional health, making sure that I have an emotional release valve in place every day, once a week, whatever. That's a bare minimum to being able to manage my mental health in a good way. And my desire, ultimately, is to get to a better, healthier place. A desire for my mental health is making sure that I can regularly go to a counselor or to a therapist. That's something I'm committing to, that I desire, and that I'm going to get there. But until then, my bare minimum requirement is that I journal every day, that I get my thoughts out, that I get my feelings out. That's my bare minimum requirement that I need for myself. We have to put those things in place. There's a scripture that is a really good nugget. It's in Proverbs, I believe. But, sometimes you can be reading scripture and reading it over and over and over again. And sometimes we just miss stuff because we're just casually reading it. We're distracted. We're not fully present, whatever. We just miss it. But that's the beauty, I think, of reading scripture, reading the Bible, is that there's always something new that you can find, even if you've read it before. So the scripture that comes to mind is Proverbs 24, verse 27. And I think this is a good idea, a good thought, good action plan. But in King James, reads, "Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house." ESV version, "Prepare your work outside, get everything ready for yourself in the field, and after that, build your house." And I think that ties into the idea of you have to get what you require first before you pursue your desire. And honestly, I just feel like God was reminding me of that. It's like, hey, I understand that you have these dreams and these desires and things that you want to accomplish, and I want you to accomplish those things. God has for us, he wants a life full of abundance, of prosperity, of beautiful things. I can't remember. I'm not going to look at the scripture because it's probably going to take too long. But the idea of like overly abundantly above and beyond our expectation of life. That's what God has for us. That's what the Most High has for us, for all of his people. He wants so much more than just mediocrity. He wants so much more than just a regular job and taxes and just boring. And I understand that can be different for different people, but the idea is that he has so much more for us, and those desires and those dreams that are in us, the ones that he placed there, he wants us to accomplish those things. But before we get there, we have to get the requirements met. We have to get those bare minimum things met so that we can build on them, and that appears in so many different ways. Like, you want good friends and good relationships, bare minimum thing you can do, be kind to people, listen to people, be generous, little stuff like that. Like, it seems little, but it's a bare minimum requirement for a good and healthy relationship. And so the reason I bring that up is that I don't want us to overlook the bare minimum requirements that we need to have and meet in our own lives, particularly when it comes to our emotional and mental health. We need to take time to do that work to make sure that we are okay, that we are healthy, that we're in a good space so that we can be and become beneficial men, healthy men for those around us, and ultimately for God's glory. So that's it for this episode. I just wanted to share those things and talk on those few subjects. Again, I appreciate it for those who are watching on YouTube, listening on the podcast. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to grow the channel. I really am. So I'm working on continuing to do these podcasts and also sharing other video content and stuff like that. And for those who are listening on your favorite podcasting app, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. I'd really, really appreciate it. And you can always hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. My handle is Jamal Calpin, at Jamal Calpin on Instagram and Twitter. Send me a message. Let me know what you think of the show. Let me know your thoughts or comments. I really, 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 really appreciate it. Thanks for listening to the show. Be sure to like, subscribe. I said all this stuff, but this is just my outro. Thanks for listening to the show. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and rate and review on your favorite podcasting app. Black man, you're called for more than mediocre living. You're here for a purpose, to live for glory and for good. Let's do the work and keep choosing to live a vibrant and excellent life. Until next time, go make something for yourself, of yourself, and go make something for God's glory and the good of others. Peace.